Okay, so I'm going to ask this question because it's kind of confusing, I guess. So ASUPS Senate has taken action in the past to pass legislation concerning a number of campus-wide and worldwide issues, such as the water bottle petition this last year and coal legislation, I think that was 2 years ago. Is this appropriate for Senate to voice opinions on such wide-reaching issues, or how would you respond as an ASUPS executive to these types of issues if they were brought up in Senate? Oh, sorry, I didn't say, this is for Krista Hoppinen. Yeah.
I think there's definitely a variety of components to this. We never, as a representative of the student body, want to make anyone feel like they are not being correctly represented. In that case, it would seemingly be better to not take a side, not take a side on certain issues like that, partially because there are definitely student groups on campus, for example, religious groups and things like that, who are the minority, and we know that. We know that we as a student body have a number of groups that dominate, and we don't hear from the other ones. I think it's difficult being a Republican on this campus, for example, and there are definitely people who are struggling with those issues, but because there is an outspoken majority, we're not hearing from them and hearing their sides and their experiences, and we never want to put anyone in a position where they're feeling like they're not being represented. So I think with that said, I would, in terms of like worldwide issues, I would say that it would always be best to be cautious and not take an opinion on anything that could make anyone feel misrepresented. Thank you.
This is for Santi. So with the general sentiment of the sophomore slump, as well as our university now requiring sophomores to live on campus for a second year, as an ASUPS executive, how would you work to promote and embrace the on-campus experience?
This is actually a question that I take very personal because as a freshman, my group of friends, my best friends, left. And they left because they did not have a community. And I think that this 2-year requirement is going to be tremendously beneficial to our whole campus. Sophomores need a community, and Scott and I are going to strive to build this community by interconnecting all the clubs, by improving our social media so that all the students and club leaders know what's happening on campus, by connecting Residence Live with ASUPS a little bit more, by having more events, KVPS events. So I think that to enhance the living requirements, to enhance the life of sophomores, especially here on campus, the best thing to do is to have more workshops, to have leadership workshops like the one that has been created for the sophomores, so that they can feel like they're being leaders, that they have some kind of mission and vision for the school, that they are part of this community. I think that having the 2-year requirement is also going to increase the GPA of students because they're going to have better tools. They're going to actually utilize these tools, and they're going to inevitably have to deal with each other. And like the hardest thing for students is having to deal with each other, but having that experience is going to, at the end, unite us all. Thank you.
All right, so now we are going to open up questions from the audience. So if you have a question and this will be more for each ticket, or if you have a specific question for a candidate, either way, just come forward. You guys can sit in the line there, or hopefully someone has a question. Yes, come. Yes. That's fine.
So this question is for both tickets. You both want to institute the sort of campus-wide event calendar, and you said that has been a ticket, or that has been an issue for multiple administrations. Why should I believe that you have what it takes to implement this if it's been such a problem in the past? Go.
So the reason it's different this year is because we have a specific plan for it. We've really designed our platform around specific ideas and promises that we can keep, and then we can start working on week one, because we're not going to need a whole lot of training and transition. We're just going to get going. So with the calendar, we already kind of have one. It's just not very good. The Ernst Sports City Administration just put a bunch of time and energy into the ASUPS website, so we had a custom website designed for us. It just doesn't have a wide user base yet, and the calendar functionality is a little wonky. So we want to work to improve that by linking with social media and by giving everyone access through tech services to actually post, for clubs and for things like that on there. Obviously, we'd moderate it to make sure people weren't just like putting up crazy stuff. But we want to give everyone the chance to share their events and then also see what events are going on. We'd link this calendar with Facebook so people can, see their events on social media, not just on the ASUPS page. And we're committed to putting as much, funding and time into it as we need to. We already have a great start. We're just going to keep going.
Yeah, I just wanted to add that previous administrations, in my opinion, have been a little bit hesitant to really invest in ASUPS, and we're here to promise you guys that we want to invest in ASUPS, even if it takes $5,000 to $10,000. We want to make sure that we have a workable system where students know exactly what's going on and where they can interact with the different events that are happening every week. We want to make that investment for you guys.
This is actually an idea very near and dear to my heart. I think Eric and I are both very invested in this idea because both of us almost transferred after freshman year. We both felt like we didn't know what was going on campus. We didn't know where to go out and meet people. I felt like after I met everybody in my classes and in Schiff where I lived, I didn't know where to meet anybody. And I feel like one of the, especially after being an RA for upperclassmen last year and freshmen this year, I see that that is one of the biggest deficits we have on this campus. I had my freshman the first weekend of school be like, hey, so I went to Campus Films and it was great, and what do we do now? Like, I don't want to go to a party and I don't have a car. And I told him to go to the cellar, which is great. But like, when we as RAs, as student leaders, as upperclassmen are saying, yeah, I don't know what you should go do, that is a huge problem. And when you have people who are going to end up being so involved in campus who are transferring after their freshman year because they feel like they're not involved and they don't have a community on this campus, that is like the biggest problem we could possibly have on this campus. So I think that I speak for both Eric and myself when I say that we are extremely dedicated to this issue, and we feel like this is one of the biggest priorities on our platform.
Plus, as you may know, many other liberal arts institutions very similar to ours have this in place, and it's just you don't think about it. It's like, oh yeah, I'll check the calendar and see what's going on today. It's something that's really important, like Chris has said, for both the freshman retention as well as the 2-year on-campus living requirement. If students are going to be living on campus for 2 years, they want to be doing things on campus for 2 years. They don't want to be just living here and wondering what I should do in my free time other than going to class. So we also want to make it really easily accessible, so potentially working with the trail to get it in the trail, because I know a lot of people only read the trail for the AUs, but having an events calendar to know what's going on is another good way to get increased trail readership as well.
Additionally, I think Eric mentioned in our platform in the beginning that we're poster blind, but we would also, I think, having a flyer with calendar would be great instead of posters.